Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump, the 45th president of the United States of America, has pled not guilty to 37 federal charges that range from espionage, collusion to withhold information, obstructing justice charges, and holding on to classified documents long after he was allowed to hold on to it with the full knowledge that they were actually classified documents. We've talked about it extensively. I'm going to say some stuff here, okay? Every conservative that's trying to engage in any kind of defensive posture here is literally so incredibly aware of how over the situation is. They are so incredibly aware of it that they can't really say, oh, this is a witch hunt, these charges are bullshit. They literally are just basically stating, well, Joe Biden maybe did some stuff. Hillary Clinton did some stuff. Hillary Clinton wasn't arrested. Isn't that fucked up? And it's like, well, you can't go to court with that. You can't take that to the motherfucker bank, buddy. You can't just walk up to a judge on your personal criminal court case and say, Your Honor, I've done a murder. Sure, you caught me red-handed. Fine. But think about all of the other people that also have done murders that have not been arrested for it. That only works maybe for the fucking idiots, okay? Maybe for the dumbasses. And even those dumbasses are probably looking at that. They love Trump anyway. They love Trump anyway. They already love him. They think that it's like the special prosecutor is gay and a secret agent of the pedophile vampires that are in charge of the government or whatever the fuck, right? So those guys were already not very fond of Donald Trump. I mean, super fond of Trump and not very fond of anyone who is Donald Trump's enemies. Does this actually harm him in the eyes of moderates? I do think so. Absolutely. I do absolutely believe that. This situation actually kind of dramatically changes the Republican primary a little bit. There are 37 counts here, and what I have seen so far and what I've talked about thus far with respect to like what the Republicans are leaning on, Donald Trump needs to get rid of all 37. He can't just say like, oh, it's fine. Like Donald Trump's team needs to get rid of all, like fight against all 37 charges. However, Fox News broadcasters and people like Lindsey Graham are basically trying to focus on one or two and going, well, they're overcharging him. They're overcharging him. And it's like, yeah, but there's dead to rights charges in there that already have so much verifiable, factually accurate information. Like Donald Trump's firsthand accounts of Donald Trump openly stating that he knew that these documents were classified and whatnot, that he's absolutely cooked. That's all you need. You don't need 36 charges. You need one. So you're fucking cooked. DNA, fingerprints, recordings, witnesses, it's comprehensive. Exactly. The feds don't fuck around. I understand why they get like 96% conviction rates now. I mean, the federales, they don't fuck around, dog. I really thought that they fucked around, but turns out the only one who was fucking around and finding out was Donald Trump, okay? I mean, it's crazy. It is actually crazy, but also Donald Trump, very criminal guy. He is the absolute worst at doing crimes, and he has done it so consistently. He is, as I said, the perfect person to be in the crosshairs of the federal agents for a crime that normally would be like maybe like a rule-breaking situation, but he does it in such an awful, flagrant, abusive way that it all of a sudden turns into a federal crime. It's perfect. But yeah, he is now under arrest and booked on federal charges. Former President Donald Trump, 46 minutes ago, according to CNN, is under arrest and booked on federal charges. And what an incredible way to go out. He was heading to the court and he was still posting up until he was arrested. He is a true poster, 100%. The GOAT. The most goated poster president of all fucking time. Straight up. Feds usually also take years at sometimes to complete large investigations. This took like 6 months. This means Trump sucks at crime, just awful. Yes, but can you really blame him? This is the question I have on my mind right now, and I'm sure plenty of you are also thinking. And the answer is not really, because he kind of got away with it his entire life. He has never actually seen any criminal punishments for all of the crimes that he has engaged in, so much so that he's basically used to just saying, like, what are they going to do? Arrest me? Get the fuck out of here. I'm Donald Trump. I'm the motherfucking president, dog, which is fine, but unfortunately, he's no longer president. So when you're no longer president, well, then it doesn't matter. When you're no longer president, you're just a guy. You're just some guy, you know? Teflon Don, big chink in the armor. Okay. Turns out 70 plus years of just like failing upwards and doing crimes in broad daylight, openly, things that other people would have gotten absolutely destroyed over. He thought he could get away with, and he got comfy. He got comfy. He wasn't even trying to he didn't have any of that paranoia that most rugged criminals have that render them, that incapacitates them, but also basically forces them to cover up their footsteps and their tracks regularly. Donald didn't do any of that. He was out in broad daylight doing that shit. He was like, what's up? It's fine. I'm doing crimes here. I'm doing crimes. I'm fully aware that I am doing crimes right now. This is the crime I'm doing, the specific crime. Here's the rule in the rule book that says I'm not allowed to do it. Here is me doing it. Here, take a photo. That's our situation. I love it. How can you not? The only hurdle in the way of justice being served in this situation is that, as far as I understand, this judge is a partial one, not an impartial one. He is a Trump-appointed judge. However, it was a Trump-appointed judge that allowed for the investigation to continue. It was a Trump-appointed judge that gave a subpoena, that signed off on a search warrant. So it doesn't really matter if one is a Trump-appointed judge. Trump-appointed judges sometimes will still do this thing where they're like, oh, well, I care about the rule of law. So that's what matters. That's what matters. My favorite podcast, Mueller, She Wrote, has some sweet copium on this. I don't know how real this is, but according to Joyce White Vance, from MSNBC, the CIPA, the Classified Information Production Act that governs this case, includes an immediate right on expedited appeal. So if the DOJ doesn't like a decision by Alien Cannon, they can go straight to the 11th Circuit. That gives DOJ not only the opportunity to appeal her substantive decisions, but it also gives DOJ an automatic trigger to ask the 11th Circuit to reassign the case to a different judge quickly. So ultimately, even if it is even if it's rigged in Trump's favor by this judge, they can just, move it around. But also, remember, go back to the fucking evidence. You know what I mean? And there's so much of it. Apparently, it's getting a bit rowdy outside the courthouse, but not all that crazy. I'm not going to lie. Post January 6th, this is the only time I thought, because given that it's in Miami, given that there was prior knowledge that this was going to happen, I thought this would be one final hurrah. I thought, maybe post January 6th. I know a lot of people are still terrified of getting arrested for protesting and shit like that. I thought maybe there would be a bigger crowd. I'm not kidding. They fell off. The hogs have fucking fallen off, dude. Too short notice for this one to be any good. No, there's two reasons for this. Remember, there is no fucking protest for an individual person in the Republican side that is not astroturfed. Turning Point USA would send buses full of people, then this is documented. Turning Point USA and every other Republican operative and Republican organization sent buses full of people to the Capitol. If you don't have the instruments of the Republican Party on your side, pushing for you and pushing to create chaos, you are individually not going to be able to create enough anger. The only people that are going to show up are the most insane, the most mentally ill. You need all of the HVAC business owners from Arkansas to come, to show up, to get angry, to get fucking wild. Two things have basically changed after January 6th. One, the sense of entitlement that they felt that in the eyes of the law, they would never get punished for getting unruly and breaking the law. That went away. These guys, they do have something to lose. They have something to lose. They don't want to lose their fucking jobs. Sorry, they don't want to lose their businesses, right? They don't want to go to jail. So they're not going to do that shit. Secondly, there is no astroturfing on this. And without astroturfing, this is all you get. And we're seeing it time and time again. This is the third time that we have waited for a major type of backlash, some kind of January 6th style situation to occur. And it hasn't happened. It doesn't happen when you don't have buses full of people that you're shipping from all around the country. When you don't have the American Enterprise Institute and the Heritage Foundation and the Turning Point USA and all of these other Koch subsidized Republican organizations pushing for attendance. When you can't tap in to the Republican Party's infrastructure for this kind of protest, your protest turns into this. It's just 100 people.
We love Trump!
There you go. Hog on Fox saying Hunter started the Ukraine war.
The most innocent man that's ever been in the White House, Donald J. Trump. The best president we've
ever had. 45/47. He's coming back. This is the longest witch hunt going on 8 years now since he came down the escalator.
Do you believe
the guy's an American hero?
Do you believe there's a two-tier system of justice? Do you believe this is unfair?
Obviously. I don't even know how anybody can ask that with a straight face. There's obviously a two-tier justice system. Why is the Clinton crime family running wild? Why is Beijing Biden and the money laundering operation that Hunter Biden started out of Ukraine? He started the war on Ukraine 5 years ago when he was working for Burisma.
There you go, dude. This is all you get. I was saying, I'm tweeting, it seems obvious to me that without the Republican Party's astroturfing and infrastructural support, the only people that show up to protest things like the Trump arraignment in the post-January 6th world are the sweatiest QAnon losers, and they rarely have enough numbers. That's it. That's also something you should understand. Like, Donald Trump certainly still has a shitload of support within the Republican Party, right? However, what I need you to understand is, like, a lot of the Republican Party's instruments are currently focused on creating like anti-trans activist movements. You know what I mean? They're not as invested in defending Trump. Things will change if Trump becomes the winner of the primary, which I still believe he will. Then the Republican Party will basically have to utilize all of their astroturf movements towards whatever the fuck Donald Trump wants. But right now, it's all the sweatiest, grossest loser perverts. How can Trump still run with charges on the record? My friend, in the United States of America, convicts can't even vote. However, they can still run for president. You can be a criminal in prison and still run for president from prison. Joe Exotic has run for president from prison. And the most notorious example, of course, is Eugene V. Debs, a socialist candidate that won more than 1 million votes when he launched his presidential run from prison.
I'm sorry. Yes, he's our president. Loves America, loves the people of America. And we have to fight. We have to help him and support him. All of this is lies.
Dude, fucking all of the Cuban Venezuelan grandmas losing their fucking minds, dude. I love that shit, dude. It fills my heart with fucking joy. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's just so fire. Ultimately, this trial does not matter. The question of whether Trump goes to jail depends 100% on the election. This is ultimately a political event, no matter what any lib wants to think. Let the libbers eat today, but let's be real. Trump only faces punishment if he loses. He's gonna campaign so fucking hard because his freedom is at stake and he knows it. I know, but there are also additional problems here. Like, for example, the Democratic primaries, which I think Trump will do really well in, but also that is kind of dependent on how Fox News covers him and his crimes. And secondly, Trump lost. Trump lost to Joe Brandon.
They finally went to a subpoena, and what did he do? According to the government, he lied and obstructed that subpoena. And then they did a search, and they found a lot more documents. And they're not even, I don't think they're even sure now whether they have everything.
Dude, these photos are so fucking bad, dude. I mean, first of all, I just want to clarify something. I do not give a fuck about classified documents being mishandled. Make no mistake. I am quite literally a fan of people who leak national security secrets. One of the most famous and most honorable examples of said leaking is probably still currently in the broadcast. I'm talking about Chelsea Manning, of course, who is a fucking hero. Having said that, however, the authorities care, and that they're gonna make a big deal about it. And if you care about like the institutions or whatever the fuck, like you're gonna care about it. And it's fucking objectively hilarious the way in which he conducted himself for no discernible reason or immediate benefit. It makes me so happy. I don't think he fucking took these docs to be like, oh, I'm so gonna sell this to like Iran. You know what I mean? I'm gonna sell these national security secrets to like Mohammed bin Salman or whatever, or Putin. I don't think so. I may be really interesting to find out more information if he was genuinely interested in doing so, but like, I don't think that's the reason why he did it. I think the reason why he did it is quite literally because he's a fucking dumbass. He is a dumb, baby-brained idiot who just wanted to have these cool pieces of intel that he could show to people like he did over and over again. And that when people wanted to retrieve said documents, he was like, yeah, I'm the president. Like, fuck you. I'm Donald Trump. I can keep them. Fuck you. These are my souvenirs.
I just want to cry.
What is it about you that makes you cry? You support him so much. You're always around. You're out here in the heat. You travel. You follow him. What is the most emotional part?
Like, I'm mentally ill. That's why.
The injustice that they're doing to him, the injustice that is happening in America.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Judge Amy Berman Jackson's decision states, under the statutory scheme established by the Presidential Records Act, the decision to segregate personal materials from presidential records is made by the president.
But those aren't personal. Those weren't personal. None of your documents were declassified or personal.
In other words, whatever documents a president decides to take with him, he has the right to do so. It's an absolute right. This is the law, and that is something that people have now seen, and it couldn't be more clear. They ought to drop this case immediately because they're destroying the country.
They better drop this case. They gotta drop it.
This is why no other president, even those who kept far more documents than I, has ever been even investigated.
Except for Biden
Because
and
the
Mike
sham
Pence.
indictment-
Live fact checking is pretty
As
funny.
can be seen in the picture where someone, not me, I wonder who it might have been, dumped one of the very neatly arranged boxes all over the floor.
Those boxes were the most neatly
They were full of
arranged.
newspapers,
They were
thousands
so
of
neat
pictures,
in the
thousands of
bathroom.
The White House photographers, some are with us today. They took so many pictures, and we saved all of them, and they were in those boxes. Clothing, memorabilia, and much, much more. I hadn't had a chance to go through
Oh my
all the
God.
boxes.
Old
It's a
people love
long
mementos. Is that his line of attack? It's
I
mementos,
was
folks.
prepared to do, but I have a very busy life. I've had a very busy life. They make it more busy because you're always fighting. And under the Sox decision, there seemed to be no rush. I wasn't in a rush because that decision was a law.
Oh my God. His argument is, I was going to get around to it. This is so good. He said he was getting around to it, but he couldn't because he was too busy. Literally an admission of crime. It's a further admission of the crimes.
And they broke into my safe, and you know what they found? Nothing. There was nothing there.
Yeah, because you left them out
Nothing
in the
there.
open. Because you
According
didn't
to the
put it in the
presidential
safe.
record
There was
sheet
nothing in the
now,
safe. I
which
left
is
it out in the
exactly what I
open.
was- In a flagrant violation of the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, which protects the right against...
It absolutely was not a
unreasonable
flagrant
search.
violation. It was the execution of a search warrant that a Trump-appointed judge
and Sebastian,
delivered.
Biden sent 1,850 boxes to the University of Delaware, making the search very, very difficult for anybody. And he refuses to give them up, and he refuses to let people even look at them.
That's
and then they
not
say how
true.
these
That's
declassified
literally just
documents
not.
were in
He's just saying.
Chinatown.
He's just straight up saying things he did, and he's claiming Biden
family
did
received
it.
so much money from China. We've learned more from the Washington Post, New York Times, about the DOJ's boxes hoax. It's a boxes hoax. Than from prosecutors themselves. We want to read about it. You pick up the Washington Post, which is not doing well. Or you pick up the New York Times. But
He's
they do
always
better
just,
now because
he has
the
to
only way
jab
they
at
survive.
everyone.
it's not
What does
supposed
that
to
have
be
to
that
do with
way.
anything?
But
This is
from
old school Trump.
people
He's
are supposed to
kind of
learn
back.
from. If the communists get away with this, it won't stop with me. They will not hesitate to ramp up their persecution of Christians, pro-life activists, parents attending school board
Yeah,
meetings.
they're coming
and even
after me
future
because
Republican
they want to come
candidates,
after
which
you, but
they
I'm in
do.
the way. That's why they're coming
We must
after me
end it
narrative.
permanently.
They want to come
They
after
want to
you. I'm in
silence
the
me
way.
because I will
It's a
never
meme
let
that he's
them
repeating that he read.
silence you. They want you silent. And I am the only one that can save this nation because you know they're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving. On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country, and we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you.
I love that. Didn't I fucking tell you he was going to say, they're coming after you. I'm just standing in the way. I fucking told you, dude. Oh, God, we're so back. He had all the right jabs. Like, when he was talking about Washington Post, talking about how it's like a failure, shat on Hillary Clinton, added in like his own personal anecdotes about how much he likes Bill Clinton. Attacking the prosecutor's family with a live criminal court case is a bold move. Oh, I was expecting nothing less from Donald Trump. I was going to say, he didn't just attack the prosecutor, he attacked the prosecutor's wife. He said the prosecutor who's coming after him, his wife made a Michelle Obama documentary. I mean, it's fire. fire. He's just that was awesome. Also, one thing I have to mention is he did not even like any kind of addressal on why he did the things he did, which I want to know personally. He basically said, I was going to give it back. I didn't have to, but I was going to give it back, which is like an insane take. I mean, you didn't do that. That's why there's a fucking criminal investigation. That's why you're going to court. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, yeah, I was going to give it back, but, on my time frame, but I didn't have to.